Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We're now watching the Half Your Deen Show.
Half Your Deen Show.
With Samirah Abdullah.
And Imam Naeem Abdullah.
We're on Half Your Deen Show.
Assalamu alaikum. We are
now watching the Half Your Deen Show on Northern Radio.
We're on
all updates. And if you channel, click. Shout out to Eric who put me up on this one about a woman who called her brothers on her baby daddy. And let's just say it did not end well. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. And if you're from Detroit, I definitely want to hear from you. So go ahead and drop Detroit below in the comments. So I got this video in. It shows two men approaching the door of a house and both of them being shot by the man inside. Turns out the man who lives at the house was defending himself from a woman and her two brothers.
An apparent domestic dispute turns deadly on the city's west side. Shots fired in broad daylight, leaving one man dead and another in critical condition. It happened on Wisconsin Street, just north of Grand River on Saturday afternoon. Investigators say it started as an argument between two people, but things escalated when two family members got involved. Officers have three persons of interest in custody. The investigation, meantime, is ongoing.
This article right here was written by Alicia Dixon. She wrote, Detroit police officers were dispatched to a home in the 12,000 block of Wisconsin on Detroit's west side at approximately 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon for reports of a shooting. By the way, this took place on July 30th. Police say the incident appears to be a domestic dispute between the resident of the home and someone who they have a child with. A person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with two men identified as brothers of the person. The three people, police say, agreed to have a fist fight. The disagreement escalated after two people forced themselves into the residence and shots were fired. Police say one victim has died and one person is in critical condition. Both are males. Three persons of interest have been detained. No further details are known at this time. So, of course, we have another example of how media try to cover up for women. Do you notice the absence of female pronouns or the word woman at all? The word woman was not used once in this article. She wrote men, brothers, male, but left out woman, she, or her, when it was the woman who instigated this whole situation. At first, I'm thinking this must be one of those they, them people. But when the male gender is listed and the female omitted, I'm like, wait, I see what's going on here. Like right here, a person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with two men identified as brothers of the person. Person is used here instead of woman. Not only was it a woman who didn't live at the residence who left the house and came back with her two brothers, that's the woman who got these two guys to lay their lives down for, getting involved in some BS. And now one is gone and the other, we're not sure yet if he's going to survive or not. A woman is in the middle of this tragedy, yet the term woman is not even used in the whole story. She's a direct link between all the men involved. She's connected to the two men, her two brothers, and the one man who lived at the residence, her baby's daddy. You see, this is how women will do dirt and other women in media cover for them. Honestly, the way this story was presented to the good folks of Detroit, you would think it was just a bunch of men that got together and decided to have a shootout. Nah. The lady was at her baby daddy's house. They started arguing over something, not sure what that was or who initiated it. She left the house, stomping off, saying that she was going to call her brothers, her two brothers. She gave them a version of the story of whatever happened, and those guys followed her over there to the house to defend their sister. They obviously don't live there. They went on another person's property, and then that man had two options. Get jumped by her brothers and fight them, basically figure out how he's going to fight all three of them because all three can jump on him. Or he could pick up his weapon and use it. Unfortunately for those brothers, he chose the latter. So to me, with this much information, it sounds like self-defense. But what you can't do is run up on somebody else's property and think that you're going to battle them on their own turf, coming at them physically, like he's supposed to just stand there and let y'all get at him. According to the article, she says that 3 people have been detained. Not sure who those 3 people are. Is one of them the baby daddy or not? But it's really a shame how women continue to set up men, they escalate situations, and next thing you know, all men involved are either in a ditch or behind bars. And then the woman, she's able to just wander off and continue her toxic life, finding other people to wreak havoc on. Men usually lose their lives over women. They're trained from a young age to put your shoes on. People expecting for men to be ready to put their shoes on for mama, girlfriends, sisters, everybody. All these women who are also disrespectful and have nothing but contempt for men. The ones who say that men are useless until they need them to risk their freedom or their lives to protect them from something. You have got to be ready at any time. Don't ask any questions. Just put your shoes on. Like, what's up with that? And then after you put your shoes on and end up wherever you end up, she's able to walk away from all accountability. They're protecting her so much in this story, they won't even say her gender. Up here talking about he had a baby with the person or the person brought their brothers over. If it's like that, why not just say the persons didn't just bring the other persons over to come fight the person who lived at the house? One person passed away, another person at the hospital, and any other person who isn't hurt, they're in jail with the other persons. Because personally, all this, we're not going to say the gender, but we'll say one gender. Yes, something isn't right about that. All I got to say is this. Fellas, please stop letting these women sign you up for battles. Don't put on the shoes without assessing the situation first. If you're about to possibly put your life on the line, you have the right to ask questions. What do you do to start all this crap? What's your role in it? A lot of y'all just running into fire. Who knows? Maybe her brothers have kids in their own families, but they just got taken out by their sister's baby daddy. You just have to use better judgment. You can't go around allowing emotional and toxic women to rile you up to lose your life over nothing. It could simply be her feelings got hurt, and that'll cause a whole war between men. I mean, look at the situation right here. One of her brothers gone right there on the spot. And then the other one in the hospital clinging on, sending prayers to him because we don't even know if he's going to make it. She booked her 2 brothers for this fight. And of course, in this video, you can see where she ran away. Go ahead and check out the video for yourself. Click the link below to watch the video. And then let me know what you think about this. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Special thank you to Havelock. I appreciate you, Havelock, for all
Oh, shit. They went in that man's house. They should have never went in. No! Don't stand there, girl! Oh, shit!
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa salama taslima. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Amma ba'd. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. May Allah bless our master, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, companions, and give them peace. All praise is due to Allah, for he is sufficient for us. Peace be upon his slaves, whom he has chosen, as to what follows. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight on another episode of the Half Your Deen Show. I don't know. This show right here is going to be very special. I don't know. I feel it in my bones. We wanted to get your attention so that we can have a serious, raw conversation, because what you have just witnessed, and if you missed the beginning of this show, when we conclude, you can go back and look at it. We played 2 videos. One was commentary on the video, on a situation rather, and then I played what transpired in real time in regards to what they were referring to. But before we begin, I want to welcome my co-host. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Habibi, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Person.
Right person. Oh, that's something else we're going to dress too. that's something else we're going to dress. Okay? Don't sip that Kool-Aid. But anyway, let's see who is in the building.
And while we're doing that, please share this video. I think this is a conversation that not only needs to happen now, but it needs to be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, so share the video. Sharing is caring, right? We share stupid videos on TikTok, right? Silly stuff. This is real life. This right here may save a life. SubhanAllah. So let's see who's in the building, and it may be your own. The love you say may be your own, not love, but your life, right?
Nobody asked you to say.
Jackson 5.
Don't do that.
Stop. The love you say may be your own. All right.
Don't do that. Stop right now. Just stop.
Stop hating.
No, just don't do that again, please.
Wa alaikum assalam. I was trying not to beautify my voice. You know my voice is beautiful, so I was trying to not beautify it.
That's your excuse. Okay, that's a good one. I like.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? My sunshine can vouch for me. Okay, I could go in the Apollo. Okay, but anyway,
I was prom queen.
I'm trying to get celebs.
Hey, nobody told you to try to do that, man. Don't do that to yourself.
It just popped up in my head. Wa alaikum salam to like we got to Sister Rashida, Imam, Miss Joanne, Brother Anthony, Brother Kevin, Brother Tyler, our brother Zachariah family, Sister Samirah, Brother Abdullah, my sister Rakaya, my sis Jamila, Brother Isa.
Isa
Isa is
Abdullah
in the
here.
building.
Alhamdulillah, make sure you come check him and us out in Columbus, Ohio. Saturday, 12 to 4.
12 to 4 in Columbus, Ohio.
Black Imams Roundtable is hooking up with Isa, our man Khalil, and the other believers out there in Columbus, Ohio, and we're going to do the thing, inshallah.
And hold on. I was trying to.
You was trying to what?
I was trying to type. I couldn't type that fast enough. Sister Nafisa, wa alaikum salam to barakatuh. Brother Matt, Brother Abdullah, alhamdulillah. My sister Felicia, my sister
Abdullah, my beloved brother, alhamdulillah. You know how you meet somebody one time and you feel like you know them all your life?
Yeah, he's like a cousin.
We met twice, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, he's like a cousin. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Mashallah. I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, please forgive me if I overlooked you, but I don't think I did. Alhamdulillah. Make sure y'all share this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the YouTube channel usually give the notifications first. So if you miss any notifications from us through Facebook, do YouTube, because YouTube is pretty good with that. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh. Uncle Yahya, alhamdulillah, he's in the building. Alhamdulillah, good to see you. Alhamdulillah. Did you want to? No, I said Sister Tahira. You must not have been paying attention. I said Sister Tahira. I said Sister Tahira. I'll say it again. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Tahira. How you doing? Alhamdulillah. That's my sis. Alhamdulillah. You wanted to say something before we start, inshallah?
Advertise our tour real quick, because the cutoff date for reserving your spot is Monday. So.
Oh yeah. So let's play that real quick. Be patient with us. Alhamdulillah. Here we go. Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abu Rayhan. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Let's recite Al-Fatiha for his wife, who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, as he mentioned in the comments here. And he says, without further treatment options. Let's recite Al-Fatiha for her and for him and their family.
May Allah grant ease and ease for you. And we know that the cure comes from Allah. Allah says, Prophet ﷺ said, Allah does not send down a sickness except with this cure. So don't lose hope, regardless of what the situation or anything. You never know. Never know. MashaAllah. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Shamika and Sister Jackie. Thank you for joining us. Alhamdulillah. SubhanAllah. That's why you have to, be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude. SubhanAllah. Like, we all have our different situations, and you never know what the next person is going through or such. But be grateful for whatever situation that you're in. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is promised. Nothing is guaranteed but the time now. So, remember Allah much and, thank him. And I'm talking to all of us. Thank him for all the bounties and blessings and such that he bestowed on us, even when we don't even deserve it or feel like we deserve it. Be grateful for it. Say, thank you, Allah. It's probably nothing I did, but alhamdulillah for what you have given me. Mm-hmm. And he has given us life. So that just give us more time to get it together and worship him. SubhanAllah. MashaAllah.
I remember a long time a sister was telling us that she was married at the time she's telling us the story. She was married to someone else, but her husband prior to that, she said they had an argument. And a lot of times we get in our arguments and we yelling at each other and we saying things that we really don't mean. We just trying to hurt the other person at the moment. And her husband left the house. He got killed after that. He never came back home. And that messed her head up because the last thing that he heard from her was whatever words they exchanged in that argument. Mm-hmm. And I remember she was telling us this story probably a decade after it happened. It still messed with her. Mm-hmm. So like you said, we have to, as the scholars say, be ibn al-waqt, be a person. It literally means be the son of the time, but it literally means you have to live in the moment, right? And you're not promised the next moment. So be careful, be grateful for what and who you have. And if we are grateful, as Allah said, La in shakartum la azidanakum. If you are grateful for a thing, Allah will increase you in that thing. So alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, CD. And Imam, don't be trying to give commentary on the background instrument stuff like you was there, right? A brother following them was straight. That's right, them. You weren't there. A brother following them, trying to sell an instrument he was using.
No, it's
mad.
not.
Right.
It's not brother. It's a person. A person was following the persons because other interest to the
Yeah.
person that was
Yeah.
using it, and alhamdulillah, that person became famous.
Yeah.
I'm just being.
Yeah, a person was following a group of persons, and he was using these instruments. I forgot what you call them, but he's like, they look like almost like a yo-yo, like the two. And they flipped that thing and make a sound out of it. And he was following us, trying to get us to buy it, right? And he flipping it and he making that sound. So we was recording all the time. So we said, you know what, Allahu Akbar, we're gonna use that thing. So brother Imad, give it your commentary. You need to get even for that story, right? We know your wife was there, right? Right? But how good is that isnad? Alhamdulillah. Let me stop messing with him. Bismillah, go ahead.
Oh, subhanallah. No, I said what you had to say.
Okay. So y'all saw this video, right? Y'all saw the video where a woman and her baby father, her child or children's father, was having an argument. Whatever that argument was about, we don't know who started the argument. We don't know who was right or wrong in the argument. We don't know. She leaves. She says, I'm going to get my brothers. Come see you. So she leaves and comes back with her brothers, who then proceed to bust in his house to put hands on him. And as you saw, he pulls out the strap and he shoots both of them, kills one of them on the spot. And and as the commentator was saying, that 3 people are, I don't know if she used the word in custody or being detained or whatever, but it's not clear on who the persons were. So after seeing this, I said, you know what? This is deep, right? Because I don't want you all to focus necessarily on the particulars of that case in that video. We just use that to set the stage for the conversation. Use that to set the stage for the conversation, right? And it reminded me of this ayat. And before I get to the ayat, right, another ayat in that same surah, which is Surah Yusuf, chapter number 12. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed, in their stories, لَقَدْ فِي قَصَاصِهِمْ إِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Indeed, in their stories are lessons for people who reflect. In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, in the stories of the prophets and messengers, there are life lessons to be learned if you reflect on it. So this brought my mind to Surah Yusuf, chapter number 12, meaning this story brought my mind back to Surah number 12. And how many of you are not familiar with the story of Prophet Joseph, as it is mentioned in the Qur'an, in the surah named after him? How many of you are not familiar with that? Please, if you're not familiar, please type it real quick, inshallah. Story is very important. It's very important. How many of you are not familiar? Miss Joanne says she's not familiar. Or when you get a chance, you need to read the whole chapter from beginning to end. There's a part of Yusuf's story See, Yusuf is the son of one of the sons of Yaqub, Jacob. And we know Yaqub is the son of Ishaq, Isaac. Isaac is the son of Abraham, right? So Yusuf, he has 11 brothers. 10 of those brothers became jealous of Yusuf. Yusuf is a little boy, and they even contemplated killing him. In Surah Yusuf, Allah quotes one of them. One of them said, Uqtulu Yusuf, let's kill Yusuf. And then they decided to throw him in a well and make it seem like a wolf or some type of animal got to him, and they couldn't do anything about it. So this is what they did. They threw him in a well, and some people, remember, they're from Canaan, they're from what we call Canaan, right? And a caravan going back to Egypt happened to stop by that well. They discovered Yusuf, and he's taken back to Egypt. And in Egypt, he's like a slave or a servant in the house, right? So now he's like a servant. He went from being with his family in another land. His brothers flipped on him and almost killed him. And he ended up being sold into slavery in a whole nother country, right? And so I'm going to start reading from verse number 23 of that surah. And I'm reading this new translation of the Quran that we got courtesy of Imam Amin and the good believers at Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City. I'm reading the English, of course. And she in whose house he was sought to seduce him. And she locked up all the doors and said, "Hi to me," using that real proper English, right? So basically, the woman, the lady of the house, right, wanted to seduce Yusuf. And so she locked all the doors and said, basically, "Come to me." He said, "Allah be my refuge. Truly, my master has made my lodging generously fair. Verily, those who are wrongdoers never succeed. It's a whole lot of commentary I can give you. I'm forcing myself just to read, right? I just want to emphasize, Innahu la yuflihu dhalimun. The wrongdoers never succeed. Remember that. Allah quoted that in the Quran for a reason. People do you wrong, don't worry, they're never going to be successful. But anyway, moving right along. She was dying for him, as he would have been for her, had he not seen a sovereign proof of his Lord, of its utter vileness. Even thus we did, to keep the appealing from him and foul indecency. Verily he was of our servants made purely sincere. Verse number 25. And each of them raced to be first to the door, and she rent his gown down from the back, and they suddenly confronted her lord at once at the door. She said, "No requital is there for him who means ill to your wife, but prison or a painful chastisement." This verse right here is real important, because she sought to seduce him. She tried to rape him, basically. And he tried to get up out of there. He ran. She chased him. When she was chasing him, she ripped his shirt. And as the ayah says, his shirt was ripped from the back. Then he opened the door. Her husband's there. Her husband's right there. What does she say? Basically, what's the punishment of someone who tried to seduce your wife? She flipped it that quick. She was trying to rape him. She got busted. Oh, what's the punishment for someone who tried to get at your wife like that? Right? So that's verse number 25. and she suggested prison or painful chastisement. Subhanallah. Not only are you the one who's really guilty, he's completely innocent, but now you're saying that, no, he was the one that was wrong. In fact, I'm going to suggest options for punishment. SubhanAllah. Verse number 26. He said, she sought to seduce me, and a witness from her own family attested. If his gown has been rent down from the front, she has told the truth. And he is of the liars. Right? So, again, it's so hard not, I'm fighting with myself not to comment because there's a lot to comment here, but I will say that when it says a witness from her own family attested, you look at the commentary of this verse, many of the Mufassirin, the commentators of the Quran, said that it was in fact a baby, and there's hadith to support it, that there were a few babies that spoke from the cradle as babies. And this is one of the occasions when you again, this is verse 26, and when it says وَشَاهِدَ شَاهِدٌ مِنْ أَهْلِهَا, a witness from her family, that witness, according to many reports, was in fact a baby. And so it was a miraculous event. This baby speaking, yo, if his shirt is ripped from the front, she's telling the truth, right? And as verse number 27 says, but if his gown has been rent down from the back, she has lied, and he is of the truthful. Verse number 28. So when he saw his gown had been rent down the back, the master said, and this is the operative phrase, what this today's show is based on. He said, Qala innahu min kaydikunna. Verily, this is from your little scheme and your little plots. He's talking to his wife. And then he said, Inna kaydakunna azim. And verily, your plot is great. Verily, your plot is great. And this is what today's show conversation is about. And the plot that is being referred to, that the husband is speaking about, the Aziz is speaking about, is the fact how she said, whoa, what's the punishment of the one who tried to seduce your wife? Maybe some painful chastisement or even prison, maybe, right? So I just want to also mention that, like, for example, if you read the tafsir of Imam al-Qurtubi, there's a hadith in there narrated by Abu Huraira, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where he is reported to, with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is reported to have said, the guile or the scheming or the plotting of the woman is stronger than the guile or the scheming, or the, we don't use the word guile. That's why I'm using all these synonyms: plotting, scheming, the mechanisms. The Arabic word is kaid. Verily, the guile of women is stronger than the guile of shaitan, because about the guile of the women, Allah Ta'ala said, Inna kaida shaitan kana da'ifa, which is Surah 4, verse 76, meaning the kaid of the devil is weak. And then he said about the kaid of the women, Inna kaida kuna adhim, and this is the verse we just mentioned. The great is the guile of women, which is verse number 28 of Surah 12. So, you know, we mention this because the deep thing about it is, and obviously this is not the case, this doesn't apply to all women, but it indicates the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to women to motivate, influence, and push an agenda. And that's why it behooves, you know, righteous women who believe in Allah to use that power that Allah gave them to push people towards belief in Allah and practicing Islam and those things which are connected to righteousness. As you can see in the video that we started with in the beginning, you seen this woman, you know, use her influence to basically get one of her own brothers killed and the other one shot. I'm also reminded, I remember years ago when I was living in Philadelphia, this incident made the news. And if you live in Philadelphia, you're old enough, you probably remember that a woman was riding the bus. A woman was riding the bus. And I forget what she was doing or what she was not doing, but another passenger on the bus didn't agree or didn't appreciate with how she was treating her child. I forgot what she was doing or not doing or whatever, but someone said something to the woman. Didn't touch her, didn't get up in her face, or didn't try to, do anything physical to her. Just say, maybe you should not treat your child like that. I forgot exactly what he said. But she's like, what? She got on the cell phone and made a phone call. And then by the time the bus reached a certain bus stop, her peoples was outside the bus. All them little cats, and them cats started pulling out guns bigger than them. And they lit up the bus. They shot up the bus for that woman that made that phone call. I forgot. I don't know if anybody got hit. I don't think anybody got hit. I'm not sure. But they shot up the bus. I know the dude who the beef was with didn't get shot, but right. And then when they caught the guys, right, because buses got cameras on it and stuff like that. When they caught the guys, this is Philadelphia, right? So all of the kids that pulled up on that bus and shot it up, they had names like Qur'an and all types of Muslim names. Fee Sugarfoot says, Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I remember this very well. I work for SEPTA, see? Tira says, so we are powerful. I'm going to let my Zawj know I am very powerful. I'm going to have him do my bidding. Allah gave y'all some divine power. But a lot of times, when a lot of times when we have a gift, a lot of times we don't use it or we use it wrong. And that video is one case where it was used in a harmful fashion. The other situation I just mentioned on the bus, about the situation being on the bus. So, alhamdulillah, and when my wife comes back, we hope to give some practical examples. And because I need to go make salat. So I hope brothers are listening, because when it comes to women, I don't care if you got a whole lot of book smarts. I don't care if you got a whole lot of street smarts. There's some things that you're not going to be able to pick up on, but a woman will be able to pick up on. So my advice to us brothers, you need to have a woman in your corner that can help you see what you can't see, help you understand what you're looking at. That woman could be your mother, could be your sister, could be your wife, it could be your auntie, someone. They don't necessarily need to be Muslim. What they need though is to love you and to be loyal to you. And so when other women get up in your space and may not mean any good for you, the women who love you will be able to call that out. Watch out for that one. She ain't no good. She ain't slick. I see her from a mile away. Don't mess with her. So that's my advice before I go make salat.
Walaikum assalam. What?
What?
What did you say while I was going? Give me a quick summary. Give me a quick recap.
I'm not in the habit of repeating myself. I said what I said.
You just told the sisters, like you said, we powerful, so you better watch out.
I said that, but I was basically reading the verses, leading up to the verse where Allah said, indeed, your scheming is great, right? Gave him the context of where it's coming from in the Quran. Because like our lovely elder sister, Miss Joanne, she's not too familiar with the story from the Quran. So I didn't want to assume that everybody know the story of Yusuf, right? So I read up to verse number 28. Then I also read some of the commentary where the scholars mention how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put those two verses together, meaning the one saying that the candid or the scheming of shaitan is weak and the candid of the women is strong. So if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is putting that together, and we know how dangerous shaitan is, if his candid is weak, you gotta watch your sisters, you gotta watch your jokers and jokerettes. I'm going to pray.
Oh, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mashallah. So, as he stated, we're going to give some examples to help us, because there's an outright assault on the family, particularly our men and our women. And particularly, the women are being conditioned to side with the enemies against her man. And so, and as you see, it don't matter what man in her life. This woman, the story that we showed in the beginning, was a woman's blood brothers, right? Her flesh and blood. She went to get them to ride for her over some nonsense, right? And you know, you got this term now, put your shoes on, right? I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but there's a challenge that was going around. I don't know if it's still going around, where mothers, and I didn't see any dudes doing this, so take particularly close attention to this. It was women. They would go inside of a room, they go to their children, the children with different ages, right? Boys and girls, and say, put your shoes on. And the children is looking bewildered, like, why? Oh, I'm about to have a fight with somebody, and they may have, a child that, that you need to take care of, right? Just go in there and just tell them to put their shoes on. Don't explain, don't clarify the situation or nothing. So some of the kids was a rider. All right, let me get my shoes. Like, I'm going to fight. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Some children were like, no, I don't want to fight, and started crying. Like, they didn't do anything to me. So it was like this assumption, you ride for me regardless, you ride for me. And so this is dangerous, right? Because this here, someone's life can be lost. Just like this woman, one of her brothers are dead because of her nonsense. And one is in critical condition and don't know if he's going to come out, right? There's another story. There's two more stories. There's so many stories. It's crazy. Where a mother in Brooklyn had went to a McDonald's in my neck of my hood. I don't know which McDonald's. It's probably the one that I'm thinking of in Bedford-Stuyvesant for my Brooklyn nights. If you're listening, let me know if it's the McDonald's that's over there, or for what's that, Fulton Street over there, where, what was that, Tompkins Avenue or something like that. Anyway, she got cold fries, and it was a bunch of young people there. Oh, it was? Okay, Kevin. Thank you for that. And it's been a minute since I've been there because things changed. I don't know if it's the same area, but she had cold fries. They gave her cold fries. So she went back and said, can y'all give me more fries? So they took the fries, gave it back, gave her more fries. You would think it was more fries, different fries. They replaced it. No. She said that they just put a couple of, like hot ones on top of the cold fries. Now, if you have eaten McDonald's fries, you got to eat them hot, right? I'm not saying to go eat them because, we can't eat them as Muslims, but, McDonald's fries have to be hot, right? So they was laughing and she laughed, but she was like, I didn't think it was anything funny. So she went to call her son. And when she called her son, I guess she told him the story, but she told, the police, like, I didn't call him to, to do anything. And I told him not to come up here. But why did you call him? You called him for a reason. So apparently him and his girlfriend came. And here is another example of the plotting of the women. His girlfriend had the piece, passed it to her, to the dude. I don't know at what point she passed it to him, but she passed him the piece. So one of the kids that was in the McDonald's, and you know how teenagers can act real silly, and make jokes, and they don't know how to stop. So I guess the dude was like, come outside. And so the one, just imagine this scene, you got this one loud person, and he's trying to prove, himself in front of his friends. Don't want to, look like he was a softie, right? Don't want like he's a punk. He went outside. And so that woman's son left and came back and shot him, right? And so she's like, well, he shouldn't have came outside if he, basically if he didn't want that, smoke. But you called your son. And his girlfriend had the piece and passed it to them, right? Like no regards for life whatsoever. Mothers with sons, we have to be, we got to do better with our parenting. If you have a son, you have to have, you should want to protect them. They already got, strikes against them already being, a male, right? Many times black, right? Brown, whatever, right? And they have to go out here in these streets. And you have to worry about their safety, especially if they're grown. Our children get older, our sons, they want to come into manhood, and they don't want no, mommy telling them, be safe and what have you. But if you have a son, that's what your natural instinct is going to kick in, right? But these two women, one with the brothers, one with a son, and this boy is going to be, locked up probably for the rest of his life. He already got a body. You understand? And it's like, you don't care. And you're just like, well, it's his fault. He shouldn't have came outside. Like, what kind of response from a mother about somebody's son? You understand? It's just crazy. You understand? And so we have to, as women, we got to stop this nonsense. We have to stop this sense of aligning ourselves to get somebody hurt. Plotting, right? Having, conversations that has no benefit, right? Secret conversations that Allah mentions in Qur'an. There is no good in these secret conversations. That was meant for the munafiqun. The munafiqs were those who act like they were Muslim, but really in their heart, they wasn't Muslim. They pray and fast. They look like everybody else doing everything. But yet really deep inside, they was a kafir. And we know that level of person is below the kafirs, right? The non-believer, a munafiq, because you perpetrate, like they used to say, perpetrated a fraud, right? You faking, you an imposter. You act like you Muslim, but you're not really Muslim. And you have women, sisters, Muslim sisters conspiring. And it gets somebody hurt. Sometimes that could lead to something fatal, as you can see. We got to stop playing. And brothers, you got to stop running to put your shoes on and just do whatever without clarifying the situation. Assessing the situation, like, how did it get to this point? We get, some people, they don't even care what the story was. What we doing, right? They don't care who, what, when, how, nothing. They just ready to roll out. That's not your friends. It's not your friends. And then you have those They, their situation's all jacked up. They're ready to mess up your situation out of hasad, out of jealousy. Maybe their home is not all together. They see that your home is, although you may be going through a rough patch, but they're like, girl, he ain't no good. You could do better than that, girl, and her stuff is so messed up and her mind is so messed up that, look, how many situations you heard somebody say something like that, and that very person, that very sister be with that husband later. The sister done got rid of the husband, and that sister that was in her ear is in his bed now, and you looking stupid because you sit here plotting and stuff thinking you doing something, slick. No, your sister shouldn't hurt you like that. As a sister, as a Muslim sister, you should not have in your mind any kind of, you shouldn't even want to hurt your sister in any kind of way. So those are just a few of the, the examples that I can think of right now. But think about women that we see in the news that they're so hurt, right? That when they man goes and move on, be with somebody else, and she had children with him, that she's ready to take the children out. That's what a mother did just recently. She stabbed her 2-year-old and her 4-year-old. She killed them because the father was about to get custody. And we know that women in the justice system, in the judicial system rather, they usually win court cases. It's always seemed like it's in their favor. It don't matter if she a crackhead, she been doing all types of meds, on drugs, or, on the street, homeless, whatever. They give her all the time in the world to get herself together. Do they afford that same mercy to the fathers that want their children? No. SubhanAllah. No, they don't. And so this woman stabbed up her 2 and her 4-year-old. They were beautiful children. And SubhanAllah, the 4-year-old, which was the daughter, she passed. She didn't make it. The 2-year-old is a son. He's in the hospital right now. And guess what this chick did? She was on IG announcing, saying they dead. And they dead because of their father. She on IG trying to garner, sympathy, right? That plotting, getting the women on her side. Get that sympathy. The father saw that and ran to the house, grabbed his babies, and took them to the hospital. Although his daughter didn't make it, alhamdulillah, the son, he's holding on, right? That don't sound like a father that doesn't, care for his children. He went straight over there. And he only knew this happened because she broadcasted on social media. Why you put it on social media? Because you are looking for sympathy. You want somebody to, stand by you. Stand by you after you killed those children that came out of your body. You help, you that baby grew in your womb for 9 months. How can you do that? How can you turn on them?
That's an important point that you're making there, right? You say garner sympathy. We didn't continue reading in the Qur'an, but just like the wife of the Aziz tried to come on the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, and she was discovered and exposed by her own family, words started circulating, and the women was like, yo, she's trying to get with her servant. What's up with her? Right? She had a dinner party, right? Y'all know the story, right? And she gave everyone a knife to cut their fruit with. And then she called Prophet Yusuf out to come serve the fruit. And he's a prophet, so naturally he's very handsome, right? And so they saw him and they cut their hands, not paying attention to cut. Instead of cutting the fruit, they cut their hands. And she was like, now what you got to say? Now you see what I'm talking about, right? So you talk about garnering sympathy, right? I just wanted to mention that in there because it's connection. Go ahead.
That is so deep, subhanAllah, like subhanAllah. And so we got to make sure, we got to make sure that we don't fall into those roles of keeping up with this, what's the word I want to say? Keeping up with this outright assault against our family, i.e. our men and our women. We can't, put ourselves in positions where it helps to further, the crumbling, the decaying of our family units. It's already bad that people don't want to get married these days. So you have people that try to, help promote marriage and family and things like that, because it's the only thing that's going to help us survive, right? It's one of the things that that Allah bestowed, allow us to to partake in, as to be grateful for, right? And everything that you do within that union, although people do outside the union, right? Playing house, right? Just keep it like that, right? You do it within that union. It's when you're intimate with your spouse, it's sadaqah, right? Serving your spouse. It's more blessings on blessings. But what do society preach? You don't need no man. You can do all that by yourself. Matter of fact, you don't need to be with no man. Be with a woman. She'll be more, whatever they say. Billah. I do not condone that. Right? Trick you. Right? All men are no good. So I just want to go that other way, and whatever floats my boat. You got people that ain't even got no preferences. I'll be with both, whatever, right? Billah. Mendalic, right? And we got to recognize the shaitan. He's an open enemy. The shaitan's, his ultimate goal is to split the man and the woman, right? That's what he wants. So that if you find it, like if you in your marriage and you go through your rough patches, all marriage go through rough patches. It's not always going to be a sunny day, right? Know that the shaitan, he's going to whisper to you. That's all he can do. But know that he's working real hard when y'all trying to do it right. You try to do things right. Right? And then when you fall into his trap, you seem like you left alone, because he already, mission is accomplished. You fell for the trap, right? Recognize who team you on, right? Women, do not plot with somebody else against somebody else, especially a Muslim. That is a no-no. There are 3 things that a Muslim should be safe from another Muslim. Their tongue, right? Which is their honor, right? Their blood. You should not kill a Muslim. And their property. You should not take what that does not belong to you. Those 3 things, the honor of a Muslim, trying to discredit, should be a no-no. Want to shed blood of your Muslim brother or sister, or sister of your brother, what have you, that should be not, no. And the property, taking it unjustly, that's a no. But nothing is sacred no more. The moral compass is just out of whack right now. So you got people praising this chick that's on the social media now. It's not the first time. She's like a credit repair person, and she helped a whole lot of people fix their credit, right? By falsifying documents, police reports. And people are praising her like she like some kind of Robin Hood or something. As Muslims, that should make you sick. That people praise someone that's doing a haram, a wrong, based on another wrong somebody else did. Well, such and such is doing it. Then we might as well just do it for our benefit. You got Muslims like that have that type of mentality. And we got to stop, because that's not the character. That's not the way of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was not crooked. He wasn't shisty. He didn't, be sneaky and deceptive or anything like that. But it seems like that is something that we, those are characteristics that we don't mind, carrying, because it's getting my way, and if I'm not getting my way, at least somebody getting done in the process. But go ahead, Habibi. I'm sorry. You can continue on with the explanation.
I finished the explanation before you got back.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. But we'll add to it.
I told you, you're not paying attention. You're not listening.
You said we got up to a certain point, so you finished.
I read up to what I intended on reading.
Okay,
let me read. I'll read Imad's comment. He said, "I know a so-called mother that took her 2 underage sons out at 2 a.m. to fight her pregnant daughter's boyfriend in the streets, and they all got beat up by the police, although the daughter is the one that called the police. These people raise their children to be friends and street material, not caring to care for them as a mother or parent should for their children." Shaking my head. This is a foolish time. They take offense when you try to help them. Yeah, people actually do get offended when you try to help them. Right?
SubhanAllah. Oh my, that's what I'm talking about. She told them to put their shoes on and let's roll, right? And you get done in by the police. The police is, to the extent that can happen, what can happen with that. Because they don't care. They don't care. Wa alaikum salam to be careful, Sister Terry. Thank you for joining us. Alhamdulillah. We're good. Alhamdulillah. And so, subhanAllah, we got to be better Muslims to one another. Like you was mentioning today, earlier, you was talking about, I forgot what you were saying, the first part. What's the opposite of Kiana? Amana. Trust, right? When you come together, right, it should be on some trust. Like, when I say trust, it should be at the level where I'm not going to violate you and I'm not going to allow you to violate anybody else.
You can also translate that as loyalty.
Right. You could be loyal, but that loyalty won't allow you to be, to betray anyone, right? Like, you could be friends with somebody. For instance,
betrayal is the opposite of loyalty. Betrayal is the opposite of loyalty.
Right.
Betrayal, backstabbing.
Right.
It's the opposite.
So being loyal, right. So being loyal to somebody should not lead to betrayal, because it's not loyalty anymore, right? You could be loyal to the wrong thing too, right? Like, you get people come together just so that they can form up against somebody else, right? Because it's a benefit to everybody, right? And then once that is accomplished, then you notice that they're not together. But that's the only way they come together. Like, I saw this meme, like, gossiping is not it's not a bonding tool. It's not a bonding activity, right? But that's how you have people like that. They gossip, they talk about people, right? Have nothing good to say, nothing. And then when everything has been exhausted and talked about, ain't nothing else going on, then they part ways, right? Until the next big thing. SubhanAllah. Kevin said, had a few confrontations because of my ex's daughter's mouth and attitude with her boyfriends. SubhanAllah. Sorry, I'm not loyal to family reunions, period. I'm loyal to Allah first, me next, and only to a point with others. If it will do me harm, I'm not loyal at all. Exactly. Like, you gotta draw a line, even with family. Sometimes people think they have a certain relationship with you that it already guarantees certain, benefits. No. I draw a line. You're not going to disrespect me, right? You're not going to think that because we Muslim. Oh, this is another thing. Have you ever come across people? I'm Muslims, and it's sorry that I have to mention this. People like, don't talk about Muslims like we have to, because some people go through stuff and they feel like they have to go through this stuff because we Muslim. They'll throw that Muslim card out. Well, we Muslim, right? But it's all right for you to disrespect me, but we're Muslim, right? Like there's certain, expectations of a Muslim and the attitude and the etiquette and the, treatment that a Muslim should receive, regardless who they are, right? So why do you give that attention to certain people and not other, right? You're selective when you are Muslim. When you're doing your Muslim, I was trying to make a word, it didn't come out, right? You're trying to see Muslim sizing. I'm just trying to make a word.
Give it up. Don't worry about it. Leave it alone.
You give it to some and give it to others. But what I found out when, observing people, most people, they're not considered religious. And you have to come to grips with that. Everybody, and being religious don't mean you're like, oh, like you got everything and you're perfect in everything. No. Being religious meaning that you do your best to stay away from the prohibition, right? And fulfill those obligations that Allah the Most High put on us. That's what being, religious, right? We're Muslims. We follow the book, right? The Qur'an, right? We follow the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? We follow the scholars that teach us how to perform our ibadah and such, and how to live our lives. You understand? Like there's a protocol that you follow. That's being religious, right? But people think you being religious is that you think you better than everybody else, and no, that is furthest from the truth. You don't know what religion is, or being on your deen. You're being religious is that I'm not doing enough, and I'm looking out for you to make sure that I don't hurt you, from my side. That's being religious. Don't you agree, Habibi Boo?
Yes. What I want you to do, I would like for you to do.
Okay.
Give us, act like you talking to me or some other brother or some other man that you care about. And give me an example of a way or a common way that a woman would fall into this verse that we are basing this discussion on. How her candid, or how her scheming and plotting and manipulating will get somebody jammed up.
Okay, repeat that scenario again.
There is no scenario. I'm asking you for the scenario. Give me an example, a common example that maybe a brother may not catch it when it's being done to him.
Oh, okay. I got you. Let me read what Fee Sugar was saying. This is a good one. I have always wanted some advice on how to deal with Muslims who take advantage. My job always saying them don't have the fear, but when I call them out, I get it. Oh, sis, we're Muslim. Right? Oh my goodness. That's that Muslim discount, right? It's that that Muslim discount, right? SubhanAllah. Certain scenarios that brothers need to watch out for that can get them messed up is sometimes like we're in the social media era, right? It done advanced to the metaverse, right? And you have things called inboxes, right? And so a lot of conversations are taking place in these inboxes, right? But when the woman come to you, it seems harmless. She may ask a question like, I'm a new shahada, right? Now let me paint the scenario. You on social media, right? You married, no matter how many you married to. When you go to people's social media pages, at least for Facebook, I'm not sure Instagram really, you see that the person is married, regardless if they got their name or whatever, right? You look through their pictures or whatever, you see all that. But you go inside this man's inbox, DM. Oh, I'm a new shahada. Can you answer this question for me? And it's like, you see, I have a whole wife, right? Why don't you ask her that? No, matter of fact, where can I get some garments from? I need some overheads. Like, where can I buy my, my hijab from? You in the brother's inbox. That's a no-no. That's a red flag. She should ask another sister or ask Sheikh Google. You can go online and find garments. You don't have to be in the brother's inbox to ask him about some garments. That's just a way of you to see how much conversation you can get from that brother. Stupid stuff like that. Or there's a question that only you can answer. Like for the leaders. I know for leaders, imams, you get those questions from sisters. Only you can answer this question, right? Right? No, sister. You just try to see how much, how much inches, how much proximity you can get to the brother. And not everybody's like that. So don't get me wrong. But there's just certain things that sisters do that they think they're slick, especially if they know that person got a wife, especially if they have access to that wife. I think that's very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very disrespectful, especially like with me. I'm going to use my, I'm married to the imam, but you're going to go around me and talk to him. And I do have sisters that reach out to me and say, hey, I have a question for your, for your Zawj. Is it okay? And I respect them with the most. I respect them the most because you considered that if it was you would want me to check in with you. We got to check in with each other as women. Yes, you need to check in. That don't mean you're getting permission. You just checking in. You feeling the pulse. Is it okay? Maybe it's not okay. What you need, sis? Maybe it's something that you don't need to ask the imam for. It's just certain things. And then you have certain sisters, they're very flirtatious. And I'm not even talking about having tight overgarments and stuff. Just their attitude, their personality. This one, I'm going to tell you this one situation that got me very uncomfortable. I was standing outside of a masjid and this sister walked up to my husband and addressed him only. She acted like I wasn't even there. And that put him in a, in a tight spot because he's like, my wife is standing there. And this sister did not look at me. She did not acknowledge that I was there. Very outright disrespectful. I didn't accuse him of anything. He didn't do anything wrong. But you got sisters bold like this and do that, right? I didn't want to cause a scene in front of the masjid. I have more, a dab better than that. But if we was in front of the bodega or something like that, something different. We was in front of the masjid, right? So I didn't want to, it wasn't a matter of I couldn't say nothing to the sister. I just wanted to be more ladylike and be more of a woman than she was on how she was, doing the situation. And so these are certain things you got to pick your battles too. You don't want to look stupid. Another thing that let me go to these comments and I have some other examples. Hold on. Zaneta says, "Assalamu alaikum, sister. Habibi, it's your responsibility to protect me. As a good Muslim brother that I know you are and all what attracted me to you, it's your responsibility to handle that brother for disrespecting me." That's an example how to mislead a brother.
And to take that even further, some of them, right? Because you know how the commentator, I don't know her name, but the commentator on that video,
yes,
like say, put your shoes on. Mm-hmm. Someone say strap up.
Right.
We about to ride out.
Right.
Like back when I was younger, it was like beef, right? You didn't have to say no long sentence beef. Everybody knew. Oh, right. So a lot of women will come to you and be like, you know, such and such disrespected me. But if you say, oh, let me see what's going on, they be like, whoa. What you need? You don't need to see nothing what's going on. I just told you what's going on. Right? Or you gonna be man enough to handle it or not? You can't even take it, you can't even do an investigation, right? Because you're not no real man. You ain't protecting me, right? You ain't doing an investigation.
Subhanallah.
Some of them will go that far.
Subhanallah. Or how about the sister has a domestic violence situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wants y'all to roll up into that situation, right? Didn't explain nothing. And then come to find out that was her boyfriend that you about to roll up on.
That actually happened. That's what you refer to.
That's what I'm referring. This her boyfriend. And then you trying to stop it because you see that the brothers is like, come on, let's roll. And see, this is dangerous. You see how she put the brothers' lives in jeopardy over her nonsense. Then all of a sudden you're like, wait. That's just like trying to stop a moving train. Once that train start going, if it put on its brakes, what happened? It's still moving, right? It's going to eventually hit something. So
that situation, and this happened a long time ago, right? This happened before social media, right? A situation like that, without telling the whole story over again, right? You had a lot of brothers that was itching to put in work. Brothers that been in their deen for a long time or a while and ain't, from the streets, ain't put that work in, they there. You got some brothers that's, ain't, they Muslim, but they still in the streets. So they finally get a chance for some halal rec. They there, right? And why we all there? For this one sister that said this kafir put his hands on her. When we got to the block and the neighbors seen all these Muslims looking out the back window, front window, side, we all there posted up, waiting for dude. Neighbors was like, why y'all here? What's going on? Why the good brothers out here? What's up? Right? Nah, he can't be disrespecting our sister. He gonna have to come home and we gonna be here when he get here. Right? You're like, who? Such and such? That's her boyfriend. Yeah, they was arguing earlier. Like, what? And then it made sense because she the one who called us there, right? But after a while, it was dragging out, right? She was like, okay, y'all could go. We was like, nah, we ain't going nowhere. We done prayed Isha. It's on. We here, right? we ain't going nowhere. And then they got to the point like, why don't y'all go home? Like, nah, you called us. Ain't no going home. We go home after the wreck.
See that?
It wasn't until that neighbor came out and said that. And then all the brothers like, oh, man, real time, man, we out, man. Let's go.
See that? See that fever that y'all had, right? For the deen protecting. That's lacking these days because you have people putting themselves in situations like you the one need to be, tied up or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this like it we got to get that back. We got to get that himma. We got to get that, that excitement to be a Muslim and making sure that, the Muslim is getting their rights, right? And I'm down for you if I have to lay down my life. Like it should be that way, right? It's nothing changed. But the situation is, look at all these situations like you creating a problem that shouldn't have been made in the first place. You know what I mean?
If that dude would have showed up, right? And plus, our temperament when we was there, it wouldn't have been no conversation. Even if somebody would have tried to talk to dude to see what was up, it wouldn't have been no conversation. Right. And we all would have been wrong.
Right. See there? Would have been wrong. SubhanAllah. So when we coming together and, women, we can cause a lot of good and we can cause the opposite of that, right? Use your power wisely, right? Because we've been lied to so much that it took us away from our element as women, right? We have to assume a lot of roles just to, to survive. And it shouldn't have been that way. It shouldn't be that way, right? And so when a dude comes and say, hey, I got all that, she's looking at you sideways like, you can't do nothing for me, right? You can't do nothing for me, and she's not looking like he's offering safety, protection. You understand? Peace and things like that. We don't, when I say we, I'm saying that in general. We don't know what that looks like. So we're used to certain type of relationships. It's got to be us against them. You know what I mean? Be careful and be wary of that sister that has a husband at home. And she looking at other men like, I bet he can do better than, than what I got at home.
I want to go back to what you mentioned earlier. Like, sister can't ask no questions. The scenario you mentioned about sister asking questions, because you mentioned two things I wanted to actually mention. But one thing, a lot of times the women, because not all of them are Muslim, but even the Muslim sisters, a lot of times they all claim, right, I can't talk to sisters. Because how many times, and you all can bear witness, how many times, like, a brother will meet some random sister on the street. Maybe he likes her, but he says, hey, I'm like, this happened more than one time. Hey, let me give you the Imam's contact information. Or he may give me the woman's contact information, right? And I call and like, hey, I'm the Imam, I'm the religious leader, blah, 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 blah. I heard you were interested in Islam. Yes, anything you can tell me, I want to know, whatever. Okay, here's his sister's number, right? She's going to reach out to you, whatever. Usually 90% of the time, maybe even more than that, it don't even get to one conversation. For some reason, sisters don't want to deal with sisters.
I wonder why. Because you have situations in certain communities that a sister can come, new sister, and they looking at them, and the first thing is 2 questions they ask. Are you married? And if she say no, who you going to marry here? Like, what kind of mess is that? That's the first thing. Not assalamu alaikum, sister, alhamdulillah, welcome to such and such masjid. We welcome you with open arms, No. Are you married? And if she say no, okay, who you come to marry? Like, is that any of your business? I've never addressed a sister like that. And so you have, I guess, maybe that person experienced that. So I don't want to talk to no sisters. Like, they just a turn off, and they'll sit there plotting and just waiting, look through that door to see what sister come through and see. And don't let her to be beautiful, right? Don't let her be attractive.
Young and beautiful.
Yeah. Right? Don't let her come in
sister be young and beautiful. Soon as she walk in the masjid, she got enemies. Nobody even know her name.
And they're like, just, all of a sudden they have attitude against the sister. And they all need to make tawbah. Every sister that did that needs to make tawbah, if you hear me. If you've done in the past, and you did that in the past, say, Allah, please forgive me. I shouldn't have done that. Because...
Do you think sisters know that they're doing it when they're doing it? I'm asking you, be honest. You're a woman. Tell the truth.
So, yes, they do.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
Yes, they do. Yes.
They know they're being foul. They're being disrespectful purposely, unwelcoming purposely. They know that?
Yes, because I don't know. I'm going to talk to my sisters. Wa alaikum salam to Katu, brother Abdurrahim. Have you ever, and it don't have to be around sisters, it could just be around women. You come to a group and somebody's like looking you up and down. They look at your shoes. Y'all ever had that? Like the person looking you up and down and like looking at your shoes and seeing what you got on and like they, sizing you up. Right? I had a sister did that to me. Let me tell you, oh my goodness. No, I ain't gonna say that. Never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, they looking at you and seeing what you got on. Like what that got to do with the, what that got to do with the, that have nothing to do with sisterhood. Like that's nothing sisterly about that. It's just like, and just these attitudes, and it'd be like a group of them that do it. It don't just be like one. It'd be a group of them that does this, and it's like that's just so much of a turn off. Like, subhanAllah, I don't understand it.
I've seen situations where, like, even because it's so common that a lot of times us imams address it. Like, yo, that woman could be wanting to come to Islam, and the sister be still like, so what? Don't come to Islam if you got going to get my husband. Ooh, what you gonna do with that on the day of judgment? Like, listen, she go to hellfire as long as she don't marry my husband. SubhanAllah.
It's you know what? It's a symptom of other things. You understand? Like people aren't put in their place as far as like how they're supposed to conduct themselves at the masjid. There's a hadith that I think Aisha, our mother Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said if the Prophet ﷺ knew how the women were acting, he wouldn't allow them to go to the masjid. Like our behaviors is repulsive. You come to the masjid just to gossip, just to talk about people, just to, to conspire with one another about what you're going to do and all this crazy stuff or whatever. You're supposed to be coming to the masjid to learn, to, read the Qur'an, to, learn, to, the fellowship, to be with your brothers and sisters and, those good things, right? But nah, you come there, girl, what I told my husband, and then you have the sisters that be talking about what they told their husband, what they did to their husband and stuff. And you got a girl say, girl, you better than me. I wouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying, like, instead of sister like, sis, you shouldn't do that to your husband. There's other sisters that need a husband, Allah can replace you and give him to that sister, to another sister that would appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just don't know what situations we put ourselves in. Like that talking, that secret talking. We gotta stress that. Because along with plotting is secret talking, is secret conversations that's going on.
And Allah addresses that in Surah Nisa. It's called Najwa. Said La khayra fi kathira min najwahum. There's no good in most of their private conversations.
Right.
If you feel like you need to get off privately and talk about that, 9 times out of 10 ain't no good in what you're about to say.
Unless you're doing good, promoting good. You understand? Unless you're trying to reconcile a situation. People fall out, whatever. You come together, okay. Can we fix things? Stuff like that. But normally, it don't be that. I can't stand that bit. Me neither. She thinks she all that. Something crazy, right? And then what's worse, the worst thing that people can do, talking about these women, is lie. When they ain't got nothing on you, they lie. And they conspire.
No, I take it a step further. And a lot of times we act like we simple. We can't understand this. A lot of times the lie have some truth in it, enough truth to get you to believe it. And Allah talks about that in the Quran. La talbisul haqq bil batil. Don't clothe the truth with falsehood, right? So you have a layer of truth and then the layer of falsehood, right?
Right.
And so a lot of times somebody will tell you something about a person and that part is true, but then what's coming after it is a million lies, and you believe the lies because the truth sucked you in.
Right. Or leaving stuff out.
Yeah. Leaving your part in it out.
Yeah, leaving stuff out, the pertinent part, because that would determine the situation that you're trying to describe. So in actuality, you trying to discredit somebody. What I had mentioned earlier, the 3 things that a Muslim should be safe from another Muslim, their honor. You try to discredit them. You make them look bad. You try to like turn everybody against that person because of whatever issues that you have with them. So you get other people with it, such and such did such and such, or such and such, whatever. And you don't tell the whole story. That's deception. You don't tell the story. They can tell that what? Is that like a white lie? Well, I didn't lie. I just left out a few things. A lie is a lie. White, black, red, whatever you want to call it, it's a lie, right? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He who deceives us, it's not of us." And he was referring to a merchant. They had his, his products. What was it, corn or something? It was wet, and he had to dry on top. And when he reached in, it was wet. But he's making it like all of it was dry, and that's deceiving, right? That's that bait and switch that we used to, right? You see advertising and it says half off, right? You know who like to do that that bait and switch? These furniture warehouse people. They got the nice mattress, right? And it said it's only like what, $100 for a king size bed, and it's a Searly or some name brand, right? And you go up in the stores like, I'm gonna get me a nice mattress. They're like, oh, you talking about that? Oh, we ain't got no more of those, right? So they're like, we ain't got no more of those, but we got these over here. Oh, it's just so convenient that you got these over here. Y'all never have the ones that you have advertised with, right? And that's that bait and switch. They really want you to pay for that expensive one. And then on the top of that, we have financing. So you don't have to worry about putting any money down. You could take it home with you today, right? They got this whole elaborate scheme. That's how we do with our relationships, unfortunately. But you know what? It only hurts you at the end. Let me tell you our story. Not a story, but when you're married, and what helps your marriage through stuff is that you form trust, right? You trust each other. And you don't have to test it, because it should just be natural that I'm not going to hurt you and you're not going to hurt me, right? But if you feel like you got to withhold stuff from your spouse, not because, well, I don't want them to get hurt, but just you withholding stuff because you doing something you ain't got no business, more likely you be doing something you ain't got no business. So you don't want her to, her to see, or something that you doing, you don't want him to see. That's not going to, your marriage is not going to last like that. So, we being married, I have, access to different information. If some sister texts the Imam, I'm going to see it. And I might respond, depending on what it is. And that's another situation. Sisters will go into a married man's inbox and they think they have some kind of access, or there's something secret going on that the wife doesn't know. If that marriage is solid, she knows. She may not address you then, because she got to outweigh, the harms from the benefits. Sometimes it's not even worth addressing because that's what you want, And then sometimes you do address it just to let them know. Sometimes I see you. I see you. Right? And that's okay. If you feel like you got to go that route, then go ahead. And so just let it be known, there was a particular sister, I'm going to tell you this situation, I ain't going to say who, sent a message to my husband. And she made a claim that he was flirting with her. Actually, he wasn't flirting with her. And he let her know. He didn't tell me because he know what went on. He's like, Samirah, I got something to tell you, but I'm going to tell you later. So I'm like, what? Nah, I'm going to tell you later. And alhamdulillah, he told me later. And I said, I'm glad you told me later. But that was his way of protecting me, right? And protecting that person. But if you watching, I know, okay? I know. And I'm not addressing it. I just want to put it out there because you have sisters that may be married or what, whatever. And that sister reaching out thinking she got some kind of access. When you are married to a person that is not married to that person should not have any access to your spouse, male or female. That's one of the things. That's the thing that we have as married couples or those that are trying to get married and thinking about getting married, or maybe they're intended. Your baby mama or your ex should not have access to you unless it's about the kids, strictly the kids. Strictly. Same thing with the sisters.
You can't just be friends?
No. Sisters too. If y'all got kids, strictly the kids. Not even how you doing, what you been up to. No,
that's too extreme. Not how you doing.
No, you know what I mean. No, you getting intimate. So what you about to get yourself into and stuff? They should know all that. That's none of their business. That's between you and your spouse, right? But
because see, this is the important thing. A lot of times we forget how when we talk about stuff, we think stuff is just black and white. 1 + 1 = 2, right? Right. The real life be a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah,
it'll be some real simple, non-threatening, platonic discussion. But if somebody is moving like that, they will flip that and make it seem like there's something deep going on.
Yeah,
and use it against you.
Exactly. You understand? Like a brother could be a good brother, right? Friendly. Oh, he was flirting at me. He was doing this to me. He was giving me the Google eyes. I seen how you was looking at me. It was just so like, no, sister, that's in your mind. You need to take your pills or something, because something in your eye, something, right? But yeah, you got to be mindful of that. Wa alaikum salam to baby Katu, sunshine. Khadija said, what? Yeah, man. CD said, Ya'udhu billah. Or on another note, we'll have women that purposely flirt or try to insinuate that a brother has interest in her when it's obviously the opposite. Social media may get a lot. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, make it like, no. Like, you gotta establish the boundaries. Because there's some people, they don't know what boundaries are. You gotta set it for them, even as adults, and they think everything is free game. No, it's not. Like, you have sisters that say, brothers are single until he feel all for. No, he's not. If he's married 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, he's not single. He's already married when he married the first one. He's not single. He's not a single. He's not a bachelor. I don't know where this mindset come from, but this seemed like a license for some to be like, well, I can just, cut up because he's single. He can get another wife. There's ways that you're supposed to operate as a woman.
As Muslims in general, we are supposed to automatically be operating, on autopilot of loving for our brother what we love for ourselves. We all know the hadith, right? Like, ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. None of you believes until he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. In other words, we should be treating our Muslim brothers and sisters the way we want to be treated. So, like, for you sisters who are interacting with a brother who's married, in your mind, you need to turn the tables around. What if I was the wife and this other sister was interacting with him like, wait, would I like it?
No.
and that's the thing, because we so selfish that we won't even be able to do that in our head. Put myself in the other person's shoes. I can't do that. Like, I don't know how to do that. Right. So
they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it.
Nah, we ain't doing that. It's just about me. I don't care about the other person.
Exactly. Jarilla said, I don't go into my husband's phone because I trust. I don't either. I don't go. If you feel like you got to go into somebody's phone and look for something, you don't look for anything. First of all, that's haram, to be snooping.
That's considered spying.
Right. You're not supposed to do that. They phone there. You might be tempted, right? But if he's that type of person that's just like talking to all types of sisters and stuff, you need to evaluate that situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should have did some more, valuation and, check mark your deal breakers and stuff before y'all got married. You know what I mean? Because most of the time when a person exhibit a certain behavior before the marriage, they're not changing after the marriage. Don't have that type of attitude. Oh, he ain't gonna be doing that when he with me. You are you are deceiving yourselves. Let me tell you, you're deceiving yourself. Nobody is going to change except if they want to change themselves. That's the only way that's the only way it's gonna work. You understand? And people think I'm gonna make him this, or I'm gonna make him. You're not gonna make him nothing, because that's who they are until they feel like they need to change something. You need to change you. That usually be my advice. That's like my number one advice for sisters that I come across. They're having issues, at home. I tell them, what are you doing? What does your worship look like? You need to concentrate on that, because you can't do nothing for him. You understand? That's between him and Allah. You have to worry about yourself, right? And then see if y'all can come on some common ground to try to work things out. But that's all you have control over is yourself. We just want to deal with everything else outside of ourselves. And usually we're the problem, meaning you exacerbate the problem by trying to deal with those outside factors when you have things internally that you have to deal with. Because once you deal with that, those outside factors have no bearing on you. You're able to tolerate. I'm not saying you're going through an abusive situation and, getting hit upside. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you having some, challenges in your marriage. You're not the first thing, I'm out, I want to go out. No, you're able to have forbearance, have patience, and see what you can do to remedy the things from your side. You understand? And having a good opinion about him on that side. Because a lot of times we don't have a good opinion about each other. And so that just helps, that helps with, fast tracking to divorce, which we don't want. That's not what we call for. Let's see. CD said, should we warn others against these types that are fitna starters, or just jumping from one brother to the next, all within the same masjid or jama'ah, and stirring up foolishness? You want to address that?
I try to warn, but my experience tells me, as in Bukhari, there's a chapter heading, and the quote is from Muawiyah, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, La hakima illa dhu tajriba. There's no wisdom except by experience. In Tirmidhi, that same statement is actually a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My experience tells me that 99% of the time, brothers ain't going to listen to you. They ain't going to get married anyway. And if you're the imam, he's going to go to the next imam to get married. If the next imam won't marry him, they're going to go to any brother to marry him. So it ain't our, all we can do is warn. And once we warn, we've done our job. And for some brothers and some sisters, warning, the book of Allah, the sunnah of his messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stories of the past, qasas, that's supposed to have ibra, life lessons, ain't listen to none of that. You're going to have to let experience whoop their behind. And some of them still ain't going to learn. They're going to die with a chain of experiences whooping their behind. And they still will not admit it to themselves that, I've been making these bad decisions. They're not going to learn from the last bad decision they made and step their game up. No, they're just going to do the same thing over again. So they're going to have to learn the hard way. And some of them still don't learn. They die doing it the hard way. My experience is told me.
SubhanAllah. What? See,
SubhanAllah is deep. You mentioned that, CD, because that book I wrote, The Pharaonic Woman, is actually 2 articles, and I put it together and made a book out of it. A brother asked me for advice about women, about marriage in general. And I kind of seen, the brother inspired me to write that. The brother that inspired that, he wrote every rule in that book. And he's paying for it right now. real bad. And I don't want to get too specific because then some people might know who I'm talking about. I don't want to talk about it, inshallah. But you know, so just some people ain't gonna listen. Some people like when one body part is thinking, the other one stops thinking.
Also, also, just in general, we have to make a pact that we're not tolerating that nonsense. You know, like if you're in the community, like it's already known, we don't deal with that type of thing. Because once you make it known, it makes people that are fitna makers uncomfortable where they don't want to come. You understand? And so we have to, you know, establish like, listen, like on social media, a lot of us have, you know, same circles, you know, people that we deal with on social media. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff happening in the inbox, right? But if y'all notice that there's somebody in that inbox that, listen, dang, you know, like your brothers, sister in your inbox, she in your inbox, she in his inbox, and that inbox, and that inbox, right? Everybody, she in everybody inbox, right? And y'all talk. You know, this sister was in my inbox, you know, whatever. Like it comes up. Sometimes it just happened to come out. You know, she was in my inbox. Oh, she was in my inbox too. Y'all just need to block her. Everybody, right? Like, listen, stay out my inbox. Because like you were saying, if you were married, how would you feel? You know what I mean? So we have to, you know, establish these perimeters. It's kind of hard on social media because, you know, if your relationship is just the extent of social media, it's kind of hard. But if you know somebody in real life, it's easy to enforce that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's different times now. Like people do everything on social media, every single thing on social media, right? So you just have to use scrupulousness, right? Like if you are a married brother, no sister should be in your inbox. None. Single or married. And with sisters, no brother should be in your inbox. Single or not married.
Hey, what was that cartoon? I can't remember. I vaguely remember. I forgot which cartoon it was. It has to be either Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck or one of them cartoons, or Woody Woodpecker. It's one of the few ones I used to watch when I was little. Right?
Right.
One of them characters drew a line in the dirt, said, if you cross this line, it's really going to be bad. So the dude stepped over the line, like, right? So then it got backed up. He said, okay, if you step past this line, okay. Step across the line.
I remember, but I forgot the name of the
right.
I remember that. Yeah, it's and this goes back. SubhanAllah, I don't want to.
This is what we do to each other. You know that, right?
Yep.
We try to set boundaries and standards or whatever. It's going to be somebody like, okay, this is the boundary right here. Boom. Right? Okay, yeah, right? Okay. Being that we got people that's over the boundary, we're going to draw new boundaries. Oh, new boundary. Okay, we're going to go over the boundary.
That brings me to a point that I don't want to miss, and I forgot to mention that. Back in the video, the commentator, and I appreciate her commentary. Like I'm digging that person. I don't know her name, but I dig her commentary. She had pointed out this agenda that they're pushing on us. And I see Muslims falling into that.
Tahira was right. Sorry, I got foghorn leghorn. That's my man. Big old chicken, right? Country accent.
Yeah.
Boy, I say.
Yeah, he old. Yes, he old. This agenda that they pushing off on us, and you find Muslims compromising their principles. As Muslims, we have principles, and we cannot compromise them for nobody or nobody's agenda.
Roasted chicken, same thing.
And so the commentator, as you would, once you look it over, she was saying how someone wrote a story and they address the gender of the men, but not the woman. They refer to her as a person, like as the pronoun person, right? But when she referred to the males, she said brothers and the man, right? And then referred to the woman who was the baby mama and the sister of the brothers as a person, as to not shed any light on the woman. She's the very one why her brother is dead and one is laying up in the hospital. And she's the very one that called them to who decide to put their shoes on and run up in somebody's house. You don't run up in somebody's house. You don't know what they're packing in their house, and they have a right to defend, right? But they, not talk crazy, but they shouldn't have done that. Wasn't very smart, right? And so we have this thing.
When you're running off of emotion, the fire of emotion, inflamed and gassed up by a woman, you ain't thinking straight.
That's true. That's why you have a lot of these murders of passion or something like that. Passion murders. What they call that?
50 Cent had a song. I think it was in that movie he made. He said usually goes down over money and whores or something like that. He said it's part of the chorus or something. Right?
Mm-hmm. So So I'm trying to point out this gender reassignment that we find ourselves these days. Like how you want to be referred to. Her, she, him, her, they, the, whatever, right? And then this article regarding this story, they refer to the woman as a person, right? But yet they assign a gender role to the males in the story. So it's like they arbitrarily decide when to enforce them rules or not, but yet they push these society norms, I'm saying society norms in quotes, on you. So you be like, okay, what you want me to call you? Her, it, they, that, what, but yet they decide when to assign it on you, right? Just like when Allah has, it's as if they're making you men and boys as a species, like not an endangered species, like y'all are. What's the word?
Prey.
Huh? Prey. Right? Allah addressed it, the pharaonic system, killing the boys and letting the women live. I was watching the movie,
and anyone who participates in that system will protect them, even their gender, I can go a whole nother way with that, but
yeah, right.
Kind of like want to stay on topic.
Crimes of passion, Rashida. Thank you. That's what I was saying. Whatever I was saying. And so Allah addresses killing the boys and letting the women live. Right? You got a system where you take away the men, you control the women. You're able to produce more of what you're trying to produce without the men being there. I was watching a movie, and this chick on there, she was like very manly, and she was like, kill the men and boys in this town, but let the women live so they can spread the fear. So it was like it was on purpose. They did that to let it be known we don't want the men around or the boys. Boys meaning children. You know how it used to be some type of code when you're fighting against someone, you leave the women, children, and old people? No, kill the men and the boys. Don't take this lightly. They named the man, they put a pronoun next to the man, right? Him. And then the brothers, right? Brothers referring to males. They did that of reason. And they left out her pronoun for a reason.
And it was obvious. They did anything to make sure that all the non-critical thinkers that's reading that is not going to associate that female component to that sad situation.
SubhanAllah. So don't underestimate it. Men, you are under attack, and the system is using women to further advance within the Muslim community. You have Muslim organizations that call themselves to help with the building of communities, but yet they're interjecting things that are un-Islamic, like intersectionality. When I hear those terms, intersectionality, inclusion, those words are flag words for me. Those words right there, they're not good terms. I don't care who you are. And it's hard when you're working within a system because that's just part of your, your jargon, right? It's hard to maneuver around that. But as a Muslim, you got to try to, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you can't compromise your principles, your Islamic principles for this system. You can't, like ask Allah to help you, because it's not easy, because they're force feeding us this, where they're like, got it where you was born a certain way, and then you can turn around and get a new birth certificate saying something else totally different. Or if you're in the work setting, you used to be he. Now I want you to call me she, it, they, whatever it is, whatever. And it's just like all over the place. These are against Islamic principles. It contradicts the Aqidah of the belief system of a Muslim. It's that deep. Allah made no mistakes when he created creation. First of all, right? He created male and females. And he was not confused about that, who's a female, who's a male, or anything like that. We have to keep that in mind. And they use our deen against us to make us, fall back, or, to feel intimidated. And you cannot, because once you fall into this, you are in the traps of the shaitan. Look at Prophet Lut, alayhi salam. Right? His wife got punished along with those people that was practicing homosexuality. Not because she was a gay or lesbian or bisexual or anything, because she was a sympathizer. Being a sympathizer gets you in trouble. And I'm not saying you treat people that want to sign themselves that way with harm and disrespect. I'm not promoting that.
That's another one of their tricks. When we stand on our Islamic principles saying that we don't condone that, we don't support that, they flip it and make it seem like you want to cause harm to those who do that. Nobody said nothing about bringing harm. They're putting words in your mouth and they miscontextualizing what you're saying, or what they call it, gaslight. Right?
Yeah, gaslight. That's the perfect term.
So you want to hurt people? Who said anything about hurt? Right? Nope. What do you talk about?
Nope.
Right?
Nope. And and that's a lie that they try to push the narrative, and they push that on our children, where your children start questioning you, like, why you being mean? Why you not being an ally to them? Like, these are the things that they, push on our children. Let me tell you a story. There was a store I used to go to, and there was a cashier, was a male, and he was homosexual. It was just obvious. And, I conduct my business there, whatever, was very, polite with him and courteous, and he was towards me or whatever. And that was our interaction. I didn't discuss who he was with at night and who was in his bed, or he didn't discuss, that's irrelevant. He's a cashier and I am the customer. This relationship, it's not a relationship, but I'm just saying our interaction, he felt so comfortable that he felt safe around me. So that pushing that agenda that we want to hurt people that doesn't follow our belief system is a lie. It's a farce. Okay. Don't allow them to bully you. Don't allow nobody to bully you.
Don't allow them to bully you, and don't allow them to make the rules or determine the rules of engagement. No, exactly. Allah and His messenger set the rules of engagement.
Exactly. And so I didn't want to miss that point, because they pushing hard. It's just hard. And it's just so funny that she pointed this out. And I respect her for that, pointing that out, that writer want to refer to the girl as a person, like to relinquish her, like hide her identity, because it was a woman that caused this nonsense that got them popped up. You understand? But yet her baby father had to use his piece. No telling what's going to happen to him, because, they ran. I know in some states, if you shoot at somebody and you shoot them in the back, that meant that they was trying to get away from you. That's not considered self-defense anymore. So I don't know what's going to happen to him. And those poor boys, I don't know how old they were. One lost his life. He might have had a family. He might have had children. He might have had a wife. I don't know. They probably had their own situation. They dumb sister gonna bring them in that mess. You know, she chose that baby daddy. They didn't. SubhanAllah.
And one thing before I forget, you know, we was talking about, you know, sisters getting that man and in their inboxes or what have you. And a lot of times the problem don't be that you're trying to get with the brother. The problem is the way you do it. Because you do it in such a way, you do it sneaky, or you do it in such a way that he got a choice. The way you came, you put him in a position whether he got to tell his wife straight up or he got to hide you. And you done messed it all up in the beginning, right? So you done created a polygynous marital problem before the nikah started. You didn't create the problem in the beginning because it started out sneaky.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Think about it. If it starts out where it got to be some sneaky stuff and I can't tell her this and we having this conversation, I got a lot of my wife about where I'm at and I got to do all that. You done started it wrong. It's wrong from the beginning. Exactly. And the ending of the thing is in the beginning. You want to know how it's going to end? Look at how it began, right? So, you know, a lot of times women be thinking they putting their feminine wiles on and they're doing their thing and all that kind of stuff, but and at the same time undermining or setting booby traps for the first wife. No, you done sabotaged your own marriage, even if you're successful and booby trapping his present marriage, you sabotaging your own marriage.
Exactly. And to add to that, you have some women that they'll be in a situation and they're always worrying about his marriage to the other one, right? Build your own foundation. You're taking attention away from the thing that's important to you. Build your marriage. Your marriage is not going to be like theirs, no matter what you do. Just like I tell, you know, sisters, you could have the biggest booty. You could be doing everything under the sun that is pleasing sexually, whatever. And guess what? He'll go to another woman, have a reason to go to another woman. That's just how they are. You're not going to satisfy everything. So stay in your lane, perfect that. And he's content with that, with you where you are. We're
like
not
Mari said, mind your business. That's the red flag, brothers. If you about to marry a second, third, or fourth wife, and the sister that you bringing in displays an excessive amount of concern for your wife you have already, red flag.
She might want that sister because, like we said, we living in these times. You got people going in polygyny to have, you know, homosexual relationships. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm talking about Muslim, because the non-Muslims, when they do it, the women are sleeping with each other. Did y'all know that? And so in Islam, I'm not even going to say in Islam, Muslims be practicing this the same thing. They be coming in there to be with the other chick, right? The sister's married to the husband, and that's just like, yeah, I want to be in there.
And a lot of brothers is corrupt, so they like, oh, that's what it's
they
here
like
for?
That. So they be participating in that nonsense. So we're not saying that it don't happen.
And then you wonder why the curse of Allah descended on your marriage.
Exactly. Now, we're not saying this is the case all the time or what have you. We're not putting that out there just to be putting it out there and to say, okay, any sister that's trying to, you know, marry a husband is doing. No, you just have to do your due
diligence.
Due diligence. If that sister paying attention to your wife too much, there's just certain things.
Now, it's obvious that, okay, the sister may want to know how you treat your wife, generally speaking, right? You know, there's ways you can find out without always like that's on your mind 90% of the time. You trying to get in her circle now, right? You follow her on social media, you're right. You know, you in all her groups, right? If y'all live in the same city, you try to hang out where she hang out, right? There ain't no, right? You doing too much.
You doing too much. I got another thing. It's a different topic, but I'm telling you
Nah,
something.
you keep going off the topic. I got another thing I want to say
Okay,
that's
go
on the
ahead.
topic.
Okay,
Right?
go ahead.
And do another topic for another show. Right. It's still on this topic, what I want to mention, that I wanted to mention for maybe about an hour ago, but you've been going on. Right?
Oh my. We're gonna do a poll. Who talked the most on the show? I won't get offended. Who talks a lot on this show?
No, today's show.
No. In general. Out of
Today's
all
show.
the shows, who talked the most?
Everybody can answer except Khadijah. Kylie Khadijah, Mary. No, everybody can answer except her. Right? But one of the things I want to mention, right?
Go ahead.
Because men in our nature, we want to protect women. A real man wants to protect his women, whether that woman be his mother, his sister, his wife, the Muslim sister in the community. If it's the Imam, he wants to protect all the sisters in the community. That's the nature, right? So this is another thing that sisters will do that fall into this category. You was going there for a minute, but then you went someplace else. They will come to the Imam or to whoever man they go to about their husband, for example. And they will say, this is a famous one. He put hands on me. So you're going to think the brother beating his wife. And so you're supposed to drop whatever investigation you thought you was going to do and go and maybe do something or something to the brother, right? Whatever that something is. If you're not experienced. The experienced one will be like, he put hands on you? How? Give me a graphic demonstration of how he put hands on you, right? And a lot of times when you get to the bottom of it, right? It don't be a punch, it don't be a slap, it don't be a kick, it don't be no type of strike. It could be meaning and I give an example. It'd be situations where she was trying to hit him and he's holding her. And she says, well, he put hands on me.
Like he supposed to let her hit him. Yeah. No, sis. Keep your hand. Domestic abusers is women too. I'm serious. And that doesn't make a man less than a man. It's just the facts. Some women are very violent.
So as me with a little bit of experience, because women know how to use their tongue. They know how to talk. They know how to get real graphic about whatever it is they want to express to you. But when you get to the domestic abuse part, right? And then all of a sudden it's not clear no more. It's vague. He put hands on me.
Trying to get that sympathy. You see that's a tool like that. People weaponize victimhood, right? If I play that role of a victim, you're going to feel sorry for me and you're just going to, roll with whatever I tell you. Do not roll. Don't just put your shoes on. Don't just, do something and then ask questions later. Ask questions up front because it may be your life at stake, not hers, yours. And she's putting your life at jeopardy where they'll be taking you away from your kids, whoever, your mother, grandmother, aunt, father, whatever, family. You understand? When you dead, you're taken away from everybody. So I would think twice. If you got to get the police involved, go ahead. If you feel like if I do something, it's going to go there. Get somebody else involved. Maybe you know someone that can, deflate the situation, like do something to, get a resolve. But we got to be careful. My brothers, like I feel for y'all, for real. Not to say y'all can't, hold your own, but the women's plot, they do things and they get you all caught up just so that you can prove yourself. Because there's some insecure men that would go the mile just to prove I'm a man. Being a man is not just using your muscles, it's using your intellect and controlling your emotions. That's being a real man, to be honest.
And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Laysu shadid bisur'ah." The strong one is not the one who can fight or throw somebody down on the ground. وَلَكِنُ الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. But rather the strong one is the one who can control himself when he's angry. See, the whole point, the whole idea is to get you angry, to get you to lose control, so you can do something, that's outside of the Sharia against you. That is just going to be a crime against yourself and a crime against Allah. Nah, the whole point is to be able to control your emotions, even if you don't say it verbally. I know you're trying to get me hyped, but I still need to know what happened all the way first, right? Hold up, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, but how did it happen? Can you explain it to me? I missed something.
Yeah.
No, we need to go now. I know we're going, but before I go, I need to know this part though, right? Are you a real man or not? Maybe I'm not a real man until you finish explaining this whole thing, right?
Subhanallah. That's true. That's true, and that's how you should operate. And then after a while, they're like, I'm gonna get somebody else, and
go get him.
Go get him. But let me end off with this. We have Farouk trying to be funny. Fine, we back to the old half your deen. What that mean? The old half your deen show. What that supposed to mean, brother Farouk?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of offended by that.
Yeah, what that mean? The
you hurt my feelings.
Show.
You hurt my feelings.
This story. I'm not gonna be long, but it was a woman. She was married to this man for like 25 years. That's a long time to be with somebody, right? 20 something years. And they split up. They had like 2 kids or something like that, 1 or 2 kids. So the man moved on. He's about in his 50s or something like that. Got him a little young thing or whatever. And they doing it up, right? Social media, right? We're talking about social media, right? The ex-wife saw on social media that they went to Las Vegas. What she thought? Because we live in different times. Don't say nothing, Habibi. She saw that they went to Las Vegas.
Who saw that? Who went to Las Vegas? I missed.
The ex-wife saw that they went to Las Vegas.
The ex-wife saw that the man and his wife went to Las Vegas.
The girlfriend. It's a girlfriend. He didn't marry the girl. He didn't marry the girl.
I must have blanked out. I missed the story. What you talk about? Rewind for me. Rewind.
Okay, rewind. What?
Tell the story again. Start from the beginning.
Oh, so you wasn't listening to me.
I think I was reading comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, see how he don't listen to me? See, we were just talking about... No, I was saying there was a woman that was married to a man for like 24, 25 years, right? Married, had 2 kids. They split for whatever reason.
Okay.
And so she saw on social media one day that his new girlfriend, she was young. He probably about 50 something. The girl was younger than him, maybe 30 something, 20 something, whatever, went to Las Vegas. So I was just asking our audience what you thought, why she went off. Like she went crazy after that. Anyway, she proceeded to hire a hitman. Okay. Right. And this hitman, subhanallah, used his nephew to go shoot this girl in her front yard. She was leaving from her ex-husband's house, and the dude came running and shot her up and went back to the car, waiting where his uncle had the getaway car, right?
I'm all confused now, but go ahead. His uncle, I don't know who's his.
Again,
the girlfriend.
The girl hired a hitman. See,
who, the ex-wife?
The ex-wife hired a hitman.
For the new girlfriend.
Right. He used his uncle. He used his nephew to kill her.
The hitman used his own nephew to kill her.
Yes. Right. And so they, so it came back that she got furious that she went to get married. Because back in the day, people used to go to Las Vegas to get married. You have a quick wedding out there. Mind you, she has 2 kids or whatever with her ex.
You mean Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, Las Vegas. She has 2 kids of her own, right? So 4 people lost. The ex-husband, he lost his girlfriend that he loved. hitman. I call him the hitman, but he didn't actually pull the trigger, but he might as well. He was like almost, he's like in retirement age. You going to jail for this chick? He was trying to prove himself to her by killing the girlfriend. That's why he was doing it, because he was in love with her.
Gotcha.
But he used his nephew, who is his relative, to do the dirt. He was like young. He lost his life. He's gonna be locked up for the rest of his life. And this dumb chick got kids with the ex-husband that she's never going to see again because she went to jail too. So all these people, plus the girl, she's dead. And I don't know if she had kids. I think she had a daughter. So all of this from this woman plotting and conspiring with someone, it turned out deadly, and everybody lost. So the plotting of women is great. The women, when you get in your mind that, I gotta do something, she just saw a picture on social media, and that changed everything for everybody because of her jealousy. It got out of control. So she used her womanly tools to entice this dude. Hey, if you really love me, you'll do this for me. Because that's all she talked about to this dude, was that dude. What dude would be with a woman that's talking about another dude or an ex? Like, who does that? Are you listening, Habibi?
No, you just reminded me of the verses we just.
So you just said no. See, he admitted he's not listening.
No, I am listening to you. I was just looking at. I'm going back to Surah Yusuf, right?
Yes.
I'm in verse number 25, right?
Okay.
This is after she done tried to rape Yusuf. Now her husband busted her, right? She gonna say, as Allah quotes Corlette, she said, "Ma jaza'u man arada bi ahlika su'an ila an yusjada aw adhabun alim." Subhanallah, right? What's the reward? I mean, basically the punishment. What's the punishment for one who wanted your family, meaning somebody tried to get at your wife, right, with evil intentions, right? Mm-hmm. Except jail or painful chastisement. You know what happened, right? Yusuf went to jail.
Yep.
Prophet Yusuf went to jail. We all know it's part of Allah's bigger plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But subhanallah.
Subhanallah. Anissa got said, she's saying the lyrics to Mary J. Blige. I'm playing it in my head. Subhanallah. Yes, she acted on emotional rate. She acted on emotional rate. Like she planned that. Like she slept with this dude. She don't even care about him. That's how far the women will go. They will give themselves up, give themselves away just to, attain whatever it is that they trying to attain. And she did this so she can cozy up with this dude to kill the girlfriend. But he used his punk behind. He couldn't do it. He used his nephew to do it. Like, how low can you go that you use your own family member for your dirt? Like, this got layers to it.
A lot of times, older folks like to blame the music of the younger folks. But even if our generation, if we reflect on our parents' generation, what's that song? We got to use what we got to get what we want, right? That's what just came in my head. Who was that? Aretha Franklin? Who was that? Who said that? And what song was that?
I don't remember. Can anybody else hear me? Anissa says she can't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Just say yeah, because she lost sound.
And so, when you were telling that story, that's what I heard. She was no, it was a woman whose verse I heard it, or maybe they was quoting James Brown in their song. I don't know, but this woman got to use what we got to get what we want.
I don't know.
You better think. Kevin quoted. Who sang that?
I don't know.
You bet.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, that's you, Anissa. You gotta oh, your
She
bad.
did it already. She her phone went to Bluetooth.
Oh, okay, mashallah.
Right. So you know, I'm not even blaming that song, but I'm just saying it goes to the mentality that, you know, people always saying, you know, men commodified women. Women have commodified themselves even. And so they use what they got to get what they want.
SubhanAllah. That's deep. We're Muslim. We gotta be better than that. we gotta be better. We gotta rise up from that mentality. We gotta attain higher statuses. Like, we can't stay down here and thinking that we're progressing. We're not. We're actually going backwards.
Farouk said it's Lynn Collins. Farouk
Lynn Collins, mashallah.
That's before my time. That name don't even ring a bell.
Old, Farouk and Kevin. look, y'all old. But when you plot when it comes to good. Let's come together. How are we going to, improve our economic, situation, right? How are we going to improve the educational system within our communities and amongst our, our children? And that's what you plot.
That's a good way, because we mentioned the verse that there's no good in most of their private conversations. And Allah says most. And then he goes to the exception, isn't that, to those private conversations that are good.
Right.
And he mentions to rectify situation between people, or to facilitate giving sadaqah and stuff like that. So you want to talk private, talk privately about that.
Right, exactly. Well, she said we have to follow what Allah and his messengers laid out for us and never compromise. We can't compromise. I know it's hard, y'all. Peer pressure is a mug. When you were young, peer pressure was bad, right? You don't want to seem different. But as an adult and being Muslim in these days and times, the pressure is on. But you have to overcome that. You got to be around like-minded people like you. You can't be around people that is not on the same wavelength as you. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But if you have that support from other Muslims that are trying to do better, you got help. That gives you a battery. You got a battery in your back. It gives you that battery in your back, and it makes you want to do better. But if you around people that's just whatever that's going on in the world, and that's what they would, that's how you're going to be as a Muslim. You know what I mean? You're going to be the same way. So we got to, be strong and just keep those people in your corner. You know what I mean? Make dua for them. That's another thing. We got so stingy that we don't make dua for one another. Make dua for one another, and help Allah to increase them and bring good to them. Even those that give you, show you harm. The Imam this morning was mentioning about a person that, he was talking about forbearance. And part of forbearance is, right, not to return it, make dua for them, right? And it says to deal with it, right? Have patience. Don't return the harm, and make dua for them, right? We got to do that with our people, because some of them we just don't know better. You only know better when you know better, you do better. Some of us just don't know, and so it's a work in progress. And we all are not going to be good if our brothers, sisters is out there. We got to look out for one another. And one of them things is not look out for one another, plotting, doing, trying to do somebody in or cause somebody harm or discredit them, and try to work against someone to turn everybody against them. It's only going to turn against you. You're going to lose in the end. That's the point. When you're doing all that secret stuff and all that stuff, it only goes, it bites you back at you. It bites you in the back. Every time.
They say when you dig in a hole that you want somebody to fall in, they say don't dig it too deep, because you're the one going to end up falling into it.
Right.
And just to quote Allah on that subject matter, as we mentioned earlier, innahu la yuflihu adh-dhalimun. The wrongdoers are not successful. meaning, and it's amazing how Allah used the word falah, like success. We say haya alal falah, same root word, meaning the word means you for example, you plant a seed and you see the fruits of that seed that you planted, right? And so what basically this is saying, basically the ones who plan evil is not going to work the way they want it to work. It ain't going to come out the way they planned it, right? So it will behoove us not to be people who make those type of plans, right?
Exactly.
Where we bring in harm and injury and trying to cause dissension among people, or trying to break that one up from that one and all that, or try to come in between that and do all that. That stuff ain't going to work. And, and if it does work, it ain't going to work the way you think it's going to work. It is going to backfire against you.
Exactly. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Miriam. Good to see you. Mashallah. So we're going to wind it down. Alhamdulillah. It was a good conversation. Alhamdulillah. Like always, we love y'all for the sake of Allah. We appreciate you. You are our family. Alhamdulillah.
We love all of y'all, even y'all that be riding out for Samirah and always taking us side. We love you too.
Farouk says Samirah can talk up a storm.
Exactly. See, Farouk, he sees it. He ain't scared. Samirah be talking, don't she?
Where my shish kebab, Farouk?
Nah. Why you calling for backup? Why are you trying to get the sympathy of the sisters? We talking about y'all tonight, and you going to do it right here on the same show? SubhanAllah.
Listen, I ain't scared. Listen. Mashallah. But if you missed the first part, look at the first few minutes of this show before we start really getting to the topic. And that
maybe we can go out with that before you do the outro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We could do that, inshallah. So stay with us a little longer after we conclude. We're going to show the video. That'll be our outro. But alhamdulillah, is Juma Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. Sending abundant prayers upon the Prophet.
That's right, Abdurrahim. Yeah. Sallallahu I got Abdurrahim riding with me too. That's right.
Alhamdulillah that you got brothers riding with you. Alhamdulillah. I ain't mad at that. That we need our brothers to, be together. So I'm not even mad at that. I ain't even like feeling any kind of ways. Alhamdulillah, you got my Habibi back. Alhamdulillah. Mashallah. Make dua for the ummah. Make dua for those that return to Allah. Ask Allah to forgive them their sins and forgive those that are sick and going through, their issues, and those that are going through whatever they're going through. And, ask Allah to make it easy on us, and ask Allah that he take us out of this world as Muslims. Make that your dua, that you leave here as a Muslim. Okay. And so, and our children, do not forget about our children. Ask Allah to protect them and guide them, and to return them to him and make him more beloved than anything else in this world, even yourself. And then in that case, that they make dua in return as a pious, righteous Muslim, that whose du'as will be answered. Ameen. And please keep us in your du'as, and inshallah we will return again on next Thursday, inshallah. But before that, this Saturday, don't forget, we will be in Columbus, Ohio, with our brother Isa and his community in Columbus, Ohio, with the BIRT, the Black Imams Roundtable. So if you can, I said tomorrow, I meant Saturday, from 12 to 4, they'll be out there with the believers out there. So if you're in the neighborhood and you can travel, please come on out to be with the imams and fellowship. Brothers and sisters, you are welcome. Anything else you want to say before we close out, my brother?
Thank you all for joining us and participating in our conversation, and have a blessed Juma.
Put your shoes on. Like, what's up with that? And then after you put your shoes on and
okay, so give me one moment while I pull this up here.
You gotta be more professional with it, sister. You
know what?
Dragging and stuff. Come on, man. Got the thing playing in the background.
Got a woman who called her brothers on her baby daddy, and let's just say it did not end well. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. And if you're from Detroit, I definitely want to hear from you. So go ahead and drop Detroit below in the comments. So I got this video in. It shows two men approaching the door of a house and both of them being shot by the man inside. Turns out the man who lives at the house was defending himself from a woman and her two brothers.
An apparent domestic dispute turns deadly on the city's west side. Shots fired in broad daylight, leaving one man dead and another in critical condition. It happened on Wisconsin Street, just north of Grand River on Saturday afternoon. Investigators say it started as an argument between two people, but things escalated when two family members got involved. Officers have 3 persons of interest in custody. The investigation, meantime, is ongoing.
This article right here was written by Alicia Dixon. She wrote, Detroit police officers were dispatched to a home in the 12,000 block of Wisconsin on Detroit's west side at approximately 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon for reports of a shooting. By the way, this took place on July 30th. Police say the incident appears to be a domestic dispute between the resident of the home and someone who they have a child with. A person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with 2 men identified as brothers of the person. The 3 people, police say, agreed to have a fist fight. The disagreement escalated after 2 people forced themselves into the residence and shots were fired. Police say 1 victim has died and 1 person is in critical condition. Both are males. 3 persons of interest have been detained. No further details are known at this time. So, of course, we have another example of how media try to cover up for women. Do you notice the absence of female pronouns or the word woman at all? The word woman was not used once in this article. She wrote men, brothers, male, but left out woman, she, or her, when it was the woman who instigated this whole situation. At first, I'm thinking this must be one of those they, them people. But when the male gender is listed and the female omitted, I'm like, wait, I see what's going on here. Like right here, a person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with 2 men identified as brothers of the person. Person is used here instead of woman. Not only was it a woman who didn't live at the residence who left the house and came back with her 2 brothers, that's the woman who got these 2 guys to lay their lives down for, getting involved in some BS. And now one is gone and the other, we're not sure yet if he's going to survive or not. A woman is in the middle of this tragedy, yet the term woman is not even used in the whole story. She's a direct link between all the men involved. She's connected to the 2 men, her 2 brothers, and the 1 man who lived at the residence, her baby's daddy. You see, this is how women will do dirt and other women in media cover for them. Honestly, the way this story was presented to the good folks of Detroit, you would think it was just a bunch of men that got together and decided to have a shootout. Nah, the lady was at her baby daddy's house. They started arguing over something, not sure what that was or who initiated it. She left the house, stomping off, saying that she was going to call her brothers, her 2 brothers. She gave them a version of the story of whatever happened, and those guys followed her over there to the house to defend their sister. They obviously don't live there. They went on another person's property, and then that man had 2 options. Get jumped by her brothers and fight them. Basically figure out how he's going to fight all 3 of them because all 3 can jump on him. Or he could pick up his weapon and use it. Unfortunately for those brothers, he chose the latter. So to me, with this much information, it sounds like self-defense. But what you can't do is run up on somebody else's property and think that you're going to back.
What you doing? I can't hear you, and the video stopped.
Oh, I'm sorry. It cut off. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry, y'all.
And then the woman, she's able to just wander off and continue her toxic life, finding other people to wreak havoc on. Men usually lose their lives over women. They're trained from a young age to put your shoes on. People expecting for men to be ready to put their shoes on for mama, girlfriends, sisters, everybody. All these women who are also disrespectful and have nothing but contempt for men. You know, the ones who say that men are useless until they need them to risk their freedom or their lives to protect them from something. You have got to be ready at any time. Don't ask any questions. Just put your shoes on. Like, what's up with that? And then after you put your shoes on and end up wherever you end up, she's able to walk away from all accountability. They're protecting her so much in this story, they won't even say her gender. Up here talking about he had a baby with the person or the person brought their brothers over. If it's like that, why not just say the persons didn't just bring the other persons over to come fight the person who lived at the house? One person passed away, another person at the hospital, and any other person who isn't hurt, they're in jail with the other persons. Because personally, all this, we're not going to say the gender, but we'll say one gender. Yeah, something isn't right about that. All I got to say is this. Fellas, please stop letting these women sign you up for battles. Don't put on the shoes without assessing the situation first. If you're about to possibly put your life on the line, you have the right to ask questions. What do you do to start all this crap? What's your role in it? A lot of y'all just running into fire. Who knows? Maybe her brothers have kids in their own families, but they just got taken out by their sister's baby daddy. You just have to use better judgment. You can't go around allowing emotional and toxic women to rile you up to lose your life over nothing. It could simply be her feelings got hurt, and that'll cause a whole war between men. I mean, look at the situation right here. One of her brothers gone right there on the spot. And then the other one in the hospital clinging on, sending prayers to him because we don't even know if he's going to make it. She booked her 2 brothers for this fight. And of course, in this video, you can see where she ran away. Go ahead and check out the video for yourself. Click the link below to watch the video. And then let me know what you think about it.
No! Don't stand there, girl! Oh, shit! They went in that man's house. They should never went in.
That plotting doesn't benefit anyone if it's not for good. It could be fatal. So, with that being said, Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wal asra innal insana lafi khusra illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah.